Supreme State Audit has reported 3 former registrars, 3 responsible sectors and 2 specialists to the prosecution accused of abuses in property registration. Despite the attention being paid to the lifeguard facilities along the coast, Minister Klosi has acknowledged that only half have been erected, blaming the situation on municipal staff. Rare archaeological evidence was discovered during excavations for the TAP pipeline project in Korça, with archaeologists and experts of cultural heritage discovering 800 mass graves. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Thursday the 2nd of August 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. The State Supreme Audit has reported to the prosecution 3 former registrars, 3 responsible sectors and 2 specialists of the local Office of Immovable Property Registration in Fear. After checks were conducted for the period July 2015 to December 2017, it was found that senior officials conducted asset registrations without proper legal documentation, with irregular documents issued for a total land area of 580,392 square metres. Also, from the inspections, it has been noticed that abusive violations have been made as a result of changing the physical state of the land described in the ownership title to omit public landmarks and facilities such as roads, streams and oil wells across a land area of 283.6 square metres. According to the State Supreme Audit, these violations found in the State Property Registrar resulted in the non-collection of rent by public institutions to the value of 120 million lek. In addition, amounts to the value of 11.5 million lek should have been obtained by the state budget for payment of registration fees for the shared facilities. Based on these violations, the Supreme State Audit has filed penal charges for abuse of office. The Ministry of Infrastructure and Energy has announced the tender process for solar and wind energy production. The investment is expected to be around €70 million and is considered one of the largest in the region. The Ministry has opened the competitive procedure for selecting a company for the development of the project for the construction of the photovoltaic facility. The location of the object is Vlora, being rated as one of the most favoured areas with higher solar radiation and higher efficiency of electricity generation from solar plants which have a high potential for solar power. The deadline for submitting a bid to the Ministry of Infrastructure and Energy is no later than 17th of September 2018 at 12 o'clock midday. This process encourages bidders to make transparent offers and reduce the costs of energy production for Albanian consumers, as such promoting the development of more efficient projects. President Ilir Meta's return of the law on gambling to the Assembly for reconsideration has stimulated a political debate. The Democratic Party asked the Ministry of Finance to give explanations why gambling business has quadrupled during Edi Rama's government, why it is tax eased, and why the law on their closure is yet to be implemented after 3 years of postponement. The truth is that legal changes favour the National Lottery, a company that will benefit from tax incentives, just as it has benefited other gambling businesses since 2015. Meanwhile, small business goes to bankrupt from the introduction of the VAT scheme. Water bills have increased by 40%, electricity prices have increased by 30%, and businesses have increased spending by 23%. The only sector where the government has offered concessions since it came into power is the gambling sector, said Democratic Party MP Fatbarda Kadiu. Kadiu went on to accuse there is only one reason why gambling today has quadrupled. The gambling industry is controlled by the family of Prime Minister Edi Rama and the organised crime he governs. Meanwhile, the chair of the parliamentary group of the Socialist Movement for Integration, Petrit Vasili, declared that the president's decision was the right move. He added that the return of the bill is a new opportunity for the Prime Minister to recover what Vasili calls a big shame. Vasili wrote on Facebook that the Prime Minister had declared war on gambling, but focused only on a few hands. Although we have already entered the peak of the tourist season, the Minister of Tourism and the Environment, Klosi, has acknowledged that not all watchtowers have yet been completed. During a joint conference with 6 institutions reporting to his department, Klosi blamed the local powers that be for this situation. Meanwhile, regarding the quality of seawater, the Minister said that despite taking measures and building rubbish collectors, again, there are still problems. The head of security and order at the state police announced that police have already started to act with reinforced measures. Attention is also being placed on the sanitary condition of accommodation structures where numerous inspections are being carried out. The director of the National Food Authority, meanwhile, stressed that many subjects were found to have been violating the conditions required for the trading of food products. To attract more tourists, the Culture Ministry has added performances and spectacles in various areas of the country. August is defined as the month with the highest inflow of both domestic and foreign tourists. About 800 mass graves dating from the 11th and 10th century BC to the Ottoman period were discovered during the excavations of the TAP pipeline in the Korça area. The engineers, archaeologists and others following the works on the extension of the pipeline project have concluded these findings of bones must be included in further studies in order to evidence their cultural heritage. The excavations are being followed by a team of experts on the ground, with archaeologist George Vinyahu sharing updates with Aura News regarding the tombs found and the periods they belong to. This evidence proves that the Korça area that has been inhabited since antiquity. The finds will be sent to specific locations to continue with their documentation and inclusion in scientific publications. Archaeologists interested in this important excavation and documentation process can see the cemetery that belonged 6,000 years ago. Even Prime Minister Edi Rama shared a little earlier with the public the news of the findings of archaeological evidence in the settlement of Korça. The municipality of Tirana is working on the urban requalification of a new residential block in the capital, this time in Lapraka. Tirana's mayor, Arion Veliai, inspected the work performance in the area near the military hospital, together with the Socialist Party MP, Ulsi Manya. I remember that I was there just 3 years ago, and a nearby family member said to me, "Leader, we will vote for you, but we will not be in your sights during the first mandate." The first mandate has not ended yet, and we are in the third year, and we are keeping the promises that we made during the campaign up to everything that we have promised. Now we are realising not only the promised road, but a project for the whole residential block, said Arion Veliai. Veliai called on citizens to collaborate to release public spaces to avoid hampering development projects that offer a positive impact to the entire community. A home with pavements, lights, ramps, sanitation, underground infrastructure, with a space for children and mothers with their prams, where grandparents can walk safely, this is a valuable home. Therefore, the invitation to all residents is when the municipality's mechanical digger comes, it is not to recover land or property that has been legalised by the government. Rather, it comes to urbanise it and to increase its value after legislation, said Arion Veliai. The mayor said that the government-municipality cooperation over the recent years is one of a success story. Socialist Party MP Ulsi Manya also announced the project for the rehabilitation of other blocks, giving a completely different view to Administrative Unit Number 11. An increasing number of parents are seeking medical assistance for their children suffering from diarrhoea, likely as a result of a combination of growth in viruses and bacteria acclimatised to this hot weather, the heat itself, and also as a result to neglect hygiene. Paediatrician at Health Centre Number 1 in Telekostaci said that in the majority of cases treated, the children did not have high temperatures, but diarrhoea and vomiting were symptoms. Cough syrup, a thermometer, painkillers should always be packed into the parent's bag before going on holiday. Doctors also suggest a routine checkup to assess the child's condition prior to travel and to follow any recommendations closely to maintain care. Care should also be used to prevent insect bites, especially when holidaying in natural areas more prone to insect reproduction. Pediatric doctors say there are also cases of infections created in the skin by bites. Sun protection is another important factor, while care should also be taken for swimming pool infections. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.